Maman a de la IPCA, le maquis chez AD, la plus belle. Qui Dali, mon Dieu Seigneur, à ce moment ça. Rachel de Kibo, chez AD. Allez, na lui le colocave, abrile, modonyali. L'autre m'a dit jouer, Pablo ayo, ate waba belle, wasabake, waba belle, un pabo mabani, niama, un pabo mabani, un pabo souvent la bayo, un peu la liste avec les petits papa, un tatouo, un pabo mabani. Mabani, Anana, Bayi Bawe Mabani, Niaki Dalio, Alegio, Babani, Mabani, Siva Fukuado, Alegio, Ade Bawe Mabani, Nia Ataito, Ade Bani, Mabani, Abena Baya Gresaiva, Ade Bawe Mabani, Bawe Mabani, Amabani, Waye. Mais je vous dis, c'est ça qui nous a construit. À quoi nous faut faire ici, devant les devants. Tu n'es pas conscient, moi je suis conscient. Asaka.
Oya,
among Yema. Maman a de la IPCA, le maquis chez Adé, la plus belle. Tuki Dali, mon Dieu Seigneur, à ce moment ça. Rachel de Kibo, chez Adé. Stefan Soko, Stefan Soko ya kwa prawo ayiya godo nyaliba amana vere kasawa amagrika vere titi ko papa vere sa seri peke ayo yije bayo ye sikre kama pa sisi ye la play oya le godo nyali are bayo e ko prawo hey awo taba sinyo wo arena velini baka taba sinyo wo arena velini waye ale na yu e koro bravo abile godo nyali yo so ma de jogure pamro ayo ade wa ba bere wa sawake wa ba be ambawe mabani ni ama ambawe mabani ambara suwa gbira bayo aduna ni ka bere titi baba aja tubo ambawe mabani ana mabani ana ayi bawe mabani ni agiji dari o areji o bamro gba ni we mabani siza fuku ade areji o ade bawe mabani Agbegbaniwe mabani, ọbẹ̀ náà àgbáyà gẹ̀rẹ́ sáyẹ̀bà, àmà agbegbàwé mabani, àwé mabani, àmà mabani wáyé, agbegbàwé mabani. Báwo bá gbèrú? Dùdú ọmọ yẹn bá yó, báwo bá gbèrú? Ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lódì, ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kì í ló sọ̀rọ̀ kó sí. Ici, hein, devant les devants. Tu n'es pas conscient, moi je suis conscient. Asaka. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. We're here again this evening. We're going to be doing our best here, but I'm not too sure if I'm that comfortable right now. I want to welcome all of you again for tuning to LIBERIA Public Radio. Let's have fun, folks. We're here to talk about our issues, what is happening. It's hot in Monrovia right now. I love it. At least they're talking. For me, that's a sign of talking. Let me just start something up very quickly here. Safety, folks. The snow in the northeast area right now is hectic. Please be careful. Be careful when you're driving to work.
I know you want to be on the phone with friends talking about everything Liberia, but please just let them know that when you get to work, you'll call them. Or you can talk on text, whatever, when you get to work. Please, please. You cannot drive in the snow and think you're going to get control of your car in case of some sort of a mishap. Please be careful. Be careful. It's very important. I hope by this time that you have good tires, and I hope by this time that you have a windshield wiper blade is working well, that your fluid, your wiper fluid is in there, and things are going well. We'll continue to pray for one another, please. It's very important that we continue to offer prayer. And in this sense, I will also say, Jesus, we're counting on you for more blessing for us and our country. Please, Lord, what we're doing, we're just playing around. We're just trying to scrabble over ideas, folks. God, we ask you to guide us. Make sure no violence happen here. Let it just be the old Liberian way, big mouth to big mouth, and see who's going to win on this here. Thank you. Okay, folks, let's go on. It's been it's a very hectic time in Liberia right now, and one of the things that I'm not going to do here tonight to discuss in its entirety of what is happening in Liberia. I went on Justice Ministry website. I didn't see the letter. I searched everywhere else. I saw the letter on Facebook, but I'm not going to discuss it in detail. If I have seen it in other local newspaper or what have you, I've not seen that, so I'll postpone my discussion about that letter, and whatever is happening until Friday. By that time, I will have a real good information that I will come out here and try to give you what I know. I'm not going to come out here based on Facebook information and say I'm running with it. I'm not a lawyer, and these are all legal terms that are going to be utilized in this particular area. So I have to be very mindful when I open my mouth on these issues. Let's go on with, not that we don't have no stuff to talk about here tonight. We still have things to talk about. We have a lot to talk about, and we'll do our best here tonight as well. So what happened here? Why am I still stuck in this more? So what's going on with my beat here? Okay, all right. Here we go. I know something there. Something was wrong somewhere. I got stuck somewhere. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on as usual. Before we start our show, as usual, let's go. Let's see the president of the Republic of Liberia, duly elected, Dr. Weah, folks. That is the president of the Republic of Liberia. And we want to again welcome the president of the Republic of Liberia, even though he's not here with us, but here he is, folks. If you don't know who he is, is the president of the Republic of Liberia, President Weah, who was duly elected. 61.5% of the Liberian population elected, those who were eligible to vote, 61.5% decided that he will be the president for the next term, whatever 1 year, 6 year, whatever term they have, that's what it is. So, but anyhow, there are folks, as you already know, there are folks also in opposition, and not just necessary opposition, some independents as well, because the things are not going well. And some feel that this government is incapable of taking us to the next level, and therefore they want to have a demonstration. Process where they and I diverge, and then we go on our separate way. Let me put it the total way. You take right, take left, that kind of thing, is when they put into their subject matter discussion, that is, that they're going to demonstrate for until the president comes down. Now, hold on to that. Hold on to that. That's a very interesting subject matter on that. Hold on to that. Okay? So, the letter that I read today, and I'm just going to do a little bit of it, not much. As far as I'm concerned, the letter, the COP letter, and the letter response from Justice Ministry, if that letter is genuine, then it's all music to my ears. Then it's all music. I love it. The first thing that I take out of that letter, the government of the Republic of Liberia have recognized COP right to demonstrate. No question. Also, and I'm just speculating here because I'm not too sure how genuine that letter is. So this is all speculation here, folks. Okay? So another thing that I took out of that letter, they lay out certain parameters. And based on assumption, based on speculations, they're saying that the COP are coming for a different reason. What those reasons, if those reasons are enumerated in the COP request for permit, then I see government have reason. But if they say based on whoever, those who are involved in organizing the protest are saying X, Y, and Z, however, the letter that is in front of the Justice Minister, if it doesn't state that clearly, that their intent is to remove the President of the Republic, then the government have no legs, Samson. I'm just giving it to you. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. But if you're going to come out and say, based on speculation, based on whatever that I heard from whoever your organizer going to be, he's saying this, and you guys been saying, but the papers say, what are they demonstrating for? If it's in that, I can see. If it's not, that's a different subject matter, folks. I'm not going to go too much into it this evening because I want to actually digest that letter because I'm not a lawyer. So the terms that are going to be used in that letter will be legalistic, let's put it that way. So I must approach it from an intellectual perspective. The fact that I'm not a lawyer, but I can read with understanding. So it will take me time to catch up. Those of you that are lawyers, you just read through it, you know exactly what they're talking about. I don't. So I have to take time to catch up. I mean, if I have to do some little consulting with my dictionary, try the law dictionary to try to see if I'm comfortable with the language that is going to be used, then I can come out here and try to digest it and try to dissect it. And with you, with your help, I can do that. But not tonight. I will try not to do that. Let's go on. I have one more video. Folks. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. This is the video of Dr. Weir during the election. And I will continue to play this video until you know what. The reason here is to remind all of us, especially those Liberians that voted for Dr. Weir, because these were kinds of things Dr. Weir was going through during the campaign. These were kinds of things that Liberians saw to say this is the man we want, because we believe by him walking in our footsteps, as some hard-time people in Liberia, when it rains we can't walk, he has experienced that. This man going to improve the situation. I want to remind all of us to know that these type of video exist, and we're trying to remind Dr. Weir in his administration as well, if that area is not fixed yet, please, Mr. President, Monrovia is not Liberia. Let us try to focus a little bit on the interior as well, because the interior need roads just as much as the urban area. Samson to LIBERIA Public. Let's play this video, folks.
Okay, all right. Let's make sure you do that same thing for you can hold. That will hold the stage. I don't need show the word, you must stay. What kind of junior not there before? Certain way, instrument. To me. No, I beg you. Man, that's the two with Baba. I think fini. Salome say don't done. Plata mu. Let's make sure you do that same thing for you can hold. You know what it stay. You are on the shoulder rod, you must stay. We're gonna junior that before. No, I beg you.
Man,
I think fini.
There you have it, folks. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. We're going to be discussing other issue here tonight. Of course, we're still going to be throwing in here and there the issue of the protest. I'm going to do a little bit different here tonight. The issue of the protest, of the upcoming December protest. My understanding now, I'm not too sure how legitimate or genuine that letter is until I can actually find that letter in some local newspapers and what have you. I'm not going to go deep into it because I'm not going to discuss these type of stuff based on Facebook information. So, because you should remember now, during the protest and the recent protest, we saw on Facebook somebody went and grabbed a video from Madam Salif administration during her term in office when there was a protest and the police brutalized student at GWGC, and somebody brought that to be part of the protest of Dr. Weah and his administration. So people can be disingenuous. People can be truly cruel. And so I'm not going to take Facebook page information and try to run with it. I'll be very careful. So I hope my audience, those of you that are listening, I hope you agree with me that until I can actually get some true statement and actually go into and dissect it, and there's no reason for me to come out here and give you a bunch of speculations. I'm allowed to do that, and I will do that from time to time, but I think this is very important that we try to stay away from areas that we are not expertise or the expert of something else. For example, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't come out here and give you all these terms, give definition and things like that. And when these people are writing, when these lawyers are writing, sometimes they call writing sometimes they have traps in these things. So we got to be very careful. Anyway, let's go a little bit deeper into it. The protests of December 7 protests that people are calling for, it didn't just drop out of the sky. Let us first agree with that. These people have been talking about it immediately after June 7th protest. And they presented some document or whatever they presented to the government, and up to this point, we have not heard anything from the government. And these people are under the impression that this government is not going to adhere to some of the requests. These were requests. The most likely they were not like a demand or something. These were protest, petition. You petition your government by asking your government, there are certain things you want the government to look into and see what is the possibility of those things being implemented. But it's very important that they are, because those protesting feel that these are type of things that will move Liberia forward. In most of the document that we read at the time, there was nothing in there that required the government to provide sleeping place for Custer. There was nothing in there that required the government to make sure that what's his name, Dallas Dillon, continued to be senator. There was nothing in there that asked the government to make sure that the COP and their membership continue to have a automobile, ride, cars. Nothing. Everything that was in there was done and stated for the benefit of all of us, Liberians, at least from their perspective. And so those things are not being addressed. In fact, you will say that things are getting worse. And so they're coming back to say, look, we asked the government to do certain things. Now, you can argue the procedures, you can argue the process. For me, I was not comfortable with the process. For me, I was not comfortable the way the message was delivered. However, I keep saying, and I said it the other day, and I will say it again. Don't look at the messenger, look at the message. The way the message is delivered, I might not be satisfied with, but that does not negate the content. Does not negate the fact the message is there. The contents of the message is still clear. Nothing has changed. So if I say here, well, because Henry Costa delivered the message and I don't like Henry Costa, therefore, what am I saying? Is the message no longer valuable? Is the message not intended for the benefit of our people? Is that what I'm going to be arguing? So you have to look at the contents of the message. Don't look at the messenger. The messenger to you and to me might have some character flaw that you might not even want to fool around with. But what if those who are putting the message together and say, this is the person that perhaps will be able to deliver this message effectively for us? Who are we to say we don't want that? We hear arguing, especially me. I'm sitting down here arguing that the protest to have Dr. Weah removed as being part of the demand of the protest, I'm not with it. So I cannot be at that particular position to say, I don't want this, but then this one is, no. You cut it, and you cut it fair. So the protest of the December 30, it's not coming from thin air, my people. Those of you that are thinking, say, because of this Facebook letter, people are saying, I'm calling it Facebook letter because I don't know. Those of you that continue to say the Facebook letter, the government now put a block on it, you know, far from it. Far from it. In fact, if you want to look at it, and if and only if the Facebook letter is genuine, then the government has opened itself up wide, open the door wide. Because what you have done, you have taken that issue of the protest, taking it from a realm of violence to the intellectual level, to the court of law. Now, the protesters themselves, they also now, if that letter is genuine, that's what I told you from the beginning. This is all music to my ears, folks. You know, a long time ago, when I started the radio business, and I used to say, oh, they were that song I used to say. The Civil War is over, oh, but the intellectual level, the intellectual war just started. If you're not prepared, you will be left behind easily. Okay, you know, this is not strength. We're not measuring who's shooting, how many bullets coming out of me here tonight. No. I'll give you an example. A night or so ago, and I'm using it as an example. I'm not saying that I'm there. Far from it. I don't even have that kind of knowledge, but I'm just giving you some example. There was a gentleman that came on my show here on this platform and said Henry Costa and the COP, they have mental issues. their behavior according to security, they are threat to the security of the Republic of Liberia. And I'm just paraphrasing them because I'm not, but in those lines. So I questioned him. I said, from what perspective you're speaking, sir? Are you a medical professional? Are you a security person? Do you have knowledge? He said, yes. I said, okay, let's go a little bit into that. What criteria are you trying to gauge these people's mental state? Oh, you know, they're not criteria. You can't come on this platform and try to put people in a category without you having the credentials to defend that. I will challenge you. Not to degrade you, not to disgrace you, not to embarrass you, but so if you're coming out here to talk, make sure when you come out, you say something, you be able to back it up. Okay? That's intellectual. The level of intellectualism is all over. So you got to prepare yourself. Let's go a little bit more, folks. So for me, I keep saying that, and I'll go back to that. This is all music to my ears. Now, oh, I love this. If this letter, if it's genuine, before this letter, we Liberians were very concerned. We, on one level, some of us believe, and I still do believe, that the protester has the right, the constitutional right, to go out and demonstrate, and that the government of the Republic of Liberia has the constitutional right as well to provide security for the protester. That have not changed. However, I also, on the other hand, argue that if the protesters are coming with a demand that is not to mean, not to be constitutional, now you can try to split hair on that. Because if you're protesting, Samson too, I love it. I love this thing, but I wish I was a lawyer. If you're protesting, you're demanding certain things. Are those demands specified in the Constitution? I don't think so. If you're protesting, is there anything in the Constitution on what you must protest for and how you protest and what are your demands should be? Are those things enumerated in the Constitution? I don't think so. And so judgment, the Constitution, those people that read the Constitution, that's stupid. Sometimes I don't agree with them, but they're leaving that type of thing for us to make the judgment, human judgment, intellectual judgment. What are some of the demands that you will put forward that many people would accept? And are those demands that you're going to be putting forward, are they in violation of somebody else's constitutional right? Oh, my people. That's why I say the civil war is over. The intellectual war is on. You can't come on and curse people. Then you're not ready. So let's go back to this. So the quote, if this letter here, the Facebook letter, if it's genuine, then the government itself has put themselves to a position that they should be ready to accept. Because if the protester decide, you know what? Thank you. We'll challenge this. And they take it to court. Most likely they will win. Now, why? According to the letter here, if what I'm reading, if it is genuine, COP sent them a letter requesting for protest. I've not seen COP letter. I saw it earlier today, but I didn't go too much into it. But just the little one that I read, and if I'm wrong, please excuse me, and you might immediately correct me. If that was stated in the protest request for permit, if it were clearly stated that their intent and the reason for protest is to remove a sitting government, then I can see this letter to be a little bit on a legal footing ground, little bit foundation, little bit. However, if you are also from the COP side, from the protester, and you think you want to unseat a government, and you think this thing was going to be accepted easily, then I think you are fooling yourself. We knew very well. Some of us believed that the government going to put up resistance. The only thing that I was concerned with is that they might not even respond until the day of protest. And they say, we don't want you to protest. And people are going to clash. But with them now taking time at this particular time to respond to that request, they also are giving the protester. And then you say Musa Din, CDC, you say Musa Din stupid or he not smart? The man smart, man. He just save you. He just save you big time, CDC. So by him doing that now, he's giving the COP that has been recognized all over the world. You cannot dispute that. COP have already put themselves at a particular level in the Liberian society that you cannot discard. Because they had a demonstration in front of international community, in front of international press. Thousands and thousands of Liberians. And now one person come out and say, oh, my finger nail cut. That was a position that COP, that's the position COP had put himself. So when you're talking about COP said they're coming to demonstrate, it's going to take a sensible person to deny them. You have no standing until you can, as a lawyer, and that's what they are, they're lawyer. So they start polling here. What can we put into them? What you doing? And just like Eugene Falcon was saying, this is the soup, intellectual soup that the Justice Ministry had just cooked. They put palm butter in there. They put cassava little, all of the sweet. You know what? I'm making fun now. But if you read that letter, they pick here, there, something, because they have to say it to suit themselves. You can't do this because X, Y, and Z. Now, COP, we're waiting now to see what their response is going to be. Folks, this is very interesting. Very interesting. We're waiting now to see what COP response is going to be. I hope that they will take it to the next level, not in terms of violence. This now should be the cooling off period that all of us been asking for. Like we have about four more years. There shouldn't be any kind of rush. This thing is being done. The protest that was being planned, or that is now in process, a planning process, is supposedly in the interest of the people. And if you listen to Henry Costa, Honorable Costa, I call you Honorable because everybody to me they're honorable. Okay, if you listen to Costa's show, most of the time, I don't need to do this, he says. And so if I can't get support, he tells the people, this is the amount of number that I want. If I can't get that number, then there's no reason. So basically he's saying to us, this is not about me. You know you're suffering. You got to show up for people to know that you're suffering. So these people themselves, the COP themselves, they recognize their power. You can't negate that. You can't throw that away. There's no way. You have to accept it. So for me now, on a very serious level, this is a cooling off area. And guess what? COPs, they're going to be in better position. Yeah, you can say, oh, Costa go on show and then cuss the president and then they say this about the president. What have you called him rogue and things like that? Excuse me. That's Costa. Okay? That's Costa. That is the messenger. That's not the message. If it was the message, those things would have been stated in their request. But if you read their request, those were not things that were not in there. They specify what they're going to what they want. So the next thing we're coming to read, well, because Costa said the president is a rogue, or Costa said president can wear white, wearing $2,000 shoes, all of those things. But guess what? On the other hand, the government has a firebrand as well. Eugene Facon. They're different. Eugene Facon speak for the government. Custer is not speaking when he's on his show. He's speaking for his show. He's not speaking for the COP. So those are the two differences. The differences in between Custer and Facon. And I bet you, the cooling period that I'm describing here, before long, Facon gonna put some pepper in it because you'll come out with some statement that will be so ridiculous that you're wondering why we even waiting. You don't go demonstrate now. People are hungry. People are suffering. I just give you, I can't say that. Well, no, I will say it because I sent him money for funeral. I don't want my son to say, but he sent money to me. I just sent some money to my sister for funeral purpose. And one of the things she said to me to send it to specific process. The other one, she said no money, she can't get money, blah, blah. So that's in Liberia. That's in Liberia. I have relatives in Liberia, visiting right now in Liberia, and I'm on the phone with him. In fact, we just spoke again this afternoon. Things are hard. He also told me, though, that from the indication, not everybody in the street, the protest, he said it's not a hot topic in the corner or in the area where he is. So perhaps in that area it's a little bit quiet. Okay? So these things are very much dynamic, let's put it that way. But let's go back into the process, folks. Let's go back into the process itself. For me, this is a cooling off area. The COP, this is Samson told like I love myself. I love that boy from Total. I love him. He's from Total for real. The COP, they were in a jam, big time, folks, because I was worried from my perspective. They're trying to demonstrate for their people, for the people of Republic of Liberia calling to them. But how do they do that without creating headache in Liberia? People are hungry. People have not gotten. Oh, I got to throw the one in quick. Gabriel Williams, who is a friend of mine, of course. Gabriel Williams wrote a big piece in Front Page Africa. Said the government still owing. They relieve him of his position without even telling him. And he back pay. He hasn't gotten paid, I think, 2 or 3 months or more. And he still owe where the government say he must stay. The government pay money here to pay the rent. Just recently, we got people resign from the government because they can't get paid. Eugene Facon yesterday went on air and said the people have party all over Montreal nightclub were all full. Then he said the people are eating everything. Then after that, when they finish eating Google food, then they come to him for school fee. People are going through hectic problems, serious problem in Liberia. And then minister, information minister, deputy minister of information, public affairs of the eyes and the ears and the mouth of the government will tell the people that you're like eating too much goat meat, you're like eating too much coffee, you're like eating all that thing that you put everything together, you're stop it. We're trying to educate you so you don't eat plenty. That you business, pay me. Let's go a little bit deeper. So you're telling me that I eat too much. Yeah, look at my stomach. I eat too much. That's fine. I will cut down my eating. You cutting down my salary, my heart boiling. My heart boiling. I'm crying. Then you telling me I'm too greedy. Okay, Minister Facon, thank you for telling me. But when you cut my salary, they tell me that you're going to reduce my responsibility that I used to have here when you were paying me all the money. You don't cut my responsibility. Oh. I still come 8 and leave 4 or 5. But you cut down my money. I'm just saying these things. Look at it from a human perspective. These people are anxious, anxieties all over. People, what you don't even have medicine in that place. People are at night, they don't even know what to do. How you know people in the nightclub, Facon? Oh, you visited a nightclub? That means you can't afford it. So you want to tell me the nightclub you visited, you cannot tell me that you visited all nightclubs in Monrovia that particular time. So if you don't know that, so that means all the other people that didn't go to nightclub, they see, because you not see one or two people to the nightclub, so now you don't go to do me statistic and say this is the me and that's it. I beg you, man. You do those kind of things, then the COP get more ground. So let's leave Falcon a little bit. I'll come back to him. But let's go back here. So the COP now, like I said, they were in a big jam. They want to demonstrate, but knowing fully well that this time around, they have a specific purpose in mind. However, that purpose is not clearly identified with the request to the government. They have the right to do that. You can say, well, then they're playing dirty politics. Well, now you business. You remember on COP that you business? When the COP know whether they play dirty politics, then are you business? Stay out of their business. That's COP. No, but on a very serious note. Okay? So now, knowing fully well that this time around it's going to be rocky. Because already they seen Falcon went on air and told everybody Costa going to be arrested. Monroe going to be hot. Now, with this letter, if this letter, this Facebook letter, if it is genuine, Costa and his people should now say, okay, let's take it to the next level. This is what those I was saying, you know, tiny sedition. They didn't understand. The Justice Ministry letter, if it is true, that's just one branch of the government. That's just one branch of the government for executive. That letter can be denied by the court. That letter can be thrown out by the court. And you all know that. So why you want to think executive control everything now? No. This is a good point for COP to take these people to court. And the international community is watching. You know how many dollars they put into the court system in Liberia to be the way it is? Let's see how the court going to rule. Is the court going to come back to say, oh yeah, Costa on your radio, they said they want to, Koluba, they said they want to overthrow the government of the Republic of Liberia, and so that's what the demonstration they were calling for. Show me on paper, please. Yeah, you can say, that's speculation, Samson told, yeah, but that's also other information we gather, security information, what have you, that's fine. But if the COP have a good lawyer, they're going to challenge that. They're going to challenge that. First of all, if you say, okay, you guys say, you say you want to overthrow the government, that's what we're going to deny. They say, come back. They come back and say, okay, from now on, Costa, Koluba, nobody talk about overthrowing the government. Y'all more forget about we are step down issue, but we want to demonstrate. What are you going to say then? You're going to say, okay, demonstrate. What does that change? It doesn't change the message. Once again, I'm telling you, don't pay attention to the messenger. Pay attention to the message. Can you do something about that message? The messenger part, that human being, that messenger. Liberians Costa to talk through him. That doesn't mean Costa is the Liberian people. That's the point you have to accept. Okay? So don't pay attention to the messenger. Pay attention to the message. So if they come back and say, oh, okay. Government said because we say we're coming to protest to remove George, we have stepped down. Okay, we're going to change the title. Okay, George, we have stayed, but we're protesting because the government is not functioning. Why? Because the government is not functioning for our people. Our people are suffering. They have evidence. They have evidence. One of the requests they made, and the international community and every one of us will agree with, is that 12 must go. Samuel 12 must go. Samuel 12 is still there. Okay. I can see, let's just take this from the international community business. Let's go back to the town route, to the real countryside. Let's bring all the chiefs from all over Liberia, bring them to Montreal. Let's see your people their case before the chief. We can hear they say to the chiefs, and those of you that are watching me, all of you are your chief now. They go in front of the chief compound, right down McDonald Street and Camp Johnson Road. In fact, let's go to the Attorney Tubman Stadium and put the chair down, put a mat down. You all go back, forget about code, forget about civil law business. Let's go back to our root. All the chiefs from all over the country, you come to Montreal. COP got complaint about this government. They come. Say, okay, what you call offer? They come and say, Chief, we came here the last time we demonstrated. Thousands and thousands of Liberians that were here, and we submitted our request that one of the demand we had, or one of the requests we had was that Samuel Twe must come down because Samuel Twe have failed us. Samuel Twe and his people were supposed to use $25 million to map out. Look what we are today. The first thing the chief gonna do, these are human beings. These are human beings. The first thing they're gonna start thinking about, how did they get to Montreal? They pay their way. Aha. Oh, $1 out of the bank. We ain't got money. So what exactly, how the government going to respond to that? What would be the government defense of keeping Samuel Twe still? What are some of the things? Tell me, my people, y'all tell me what Samuel Twe have done for us within the last 12 months that you can count on to say, yes, Samuel Twe must stay. Show me. They go outside of Liberia to solicit help from international community. The people come back. World Bank or International Monetary Fund, they say, well, the wage bill. They're not cost some of the wage bill, which is fine. But what is the particular contribution of Samuel Twe that you can defend keeping Samuel Twe in power still? Besides Samuel Twe being your friend. So Costa can talk. You go in English, Costa talk. You want to speak Pele, Costa talk. Anything you ready, then you can't. Costa said, I will speak for my people, open there. And that's how you were talking. You ain't coming there to come use your big book then. No. Oh man, there. They think we're talking about it, not for me. They think I'm talking about it, not just for me. But look at you, oh man. Look, you know Costa, when he's talking, he's going to go down that route and the people going to gravitate to whatever he's saying. How you going to defend it? So if the people go and start defending themselves, the government can't stand on anything. What about people? The exchange rate, I just sent money. I was looking at the exchange rate today. $1 to $1.33, Liberian dollar now. Three something. Is that once? I know I had the paper. I left it somewhere. But anyway, the rate is high. Let's put it that way. Okay? But the point that I'm trying to make here this afternoon, my brothers and sisters, is this. This is an opportunity for me. I stated here from the beginning, this is a music to my ears. This is an opportunity for all of us to take a step back and say, okay, thank you, Justice Minister. We're coming back. There's no rush. There's no rush. If we rush this thing, that's when you make mistake. But there's no reason to rush. So we say, okay, thank you. Thank you, Justice Minister. I need to drink water. Something too. Somebody eat my water. Somebody want to tell me here this evening, but what are you talking about? That I the one you will come play with, I talking them water, I need water to drink. What wrong with you say? Don't play with me. They think that peanut ain't come from Total. You know where peanut come from? Clock. Way somewhere, way in some other country. But anyway, folks, Samson to Liberian Public Radio. But anyhow, so these are the kinds of things that we need to talk about. The COP, I hope, and I'm not in contact with these people. I am not part of the group, But I'm hoping that these brothers and sisters now will see reason. This is a good pad, a launching pad for them to demonstrate to the international community that they are viable and they are sincere, that this government is not capable of leading the people of the Republic of Liberia. Because in order for you to dislodge this government, to truly get him out, besides you going through election, this man was elected. Dr. Weir was elected by 61.5% of the Liberian electorate. The international community, the democracy, the wars all over. This, we're not talking about China. I'm not talking about North Korea. I'm talking about United States. I'm talking about Europe. They believe in numbers. They believe in vote. In order for you to disregard somebody else's vote, you have to have a genuine and good reason. And this is one of the ways you make your case. You build your case. You build your case. If you truly believe that Dr. Weir and his people are not capable of leading us, you build your case. You can start from all of these loans they try to secure and they're not working. Why? My understanding now is that Nathaniel McKell is here in the United States trying to secure a loan. And from what I was reading on a Liberian newspaper, diaspora newspaper here today, that might not even happen. Why? Is it because we Liberians are on Facebook cussing each other? That's why they don't want to give us loan? Or is it because the government of the Republic of Liberia is incapable of demonstrating to the people that they also, if you invest in Liberia, you tend to get something? Another thing, go on Liberian Public Radio website. There's a group of young Liberians that were out of fire or laid off from the metal steel company over there in Nima County. And what did they do? They put rocks, heavy rocks and logs on the railroad track. And you expect people to come running to us to help us. Okay? And those are the kinds of stuff. I'm not saying they don't have the right. I'm not challenging in that because I don't know the detail. But if you demonstrate yourself like that as people, how then you expect other investors to come in? Even the company that is there already, they're still going to entice investors. People are going to give them money. Good iron ore coming from Liberia will make a profit. You'll go there. You have some more money, you'll go do more. But when they go back to do their report, at the annual report, people will ask them, why was people putting rock on the tracks? Oh, because they were laid off? And what were they laid off for? Or because they were redundant and they couldn't understand that? I don't think I want to invest in that. And it's just a matter of vote. Once the investor vote to cancel whatever it is that they're doing in Liberia, they're gone. There's nothing you're going to do to bring them back. And those are the kinds of things the government need to involve themselves by educating Liberians. Dr. Weir need to, even if that 3 times a week, come on air and talk to the people. For goodness sake, Dr. Weir. I keep saying this. It don't matter whether you know English or you don't know English. What makes you think that if you take up to the mic, if capable, not variable cable, do you think Liberian people will not understand that? When you said that thing the other day, they complain. Take on to the mic. Explain to your people. The popularity level is still there. But you're misusing it. People are leading you the wrong way to misuse that popularity. You're just a human being like any other person. The people that put you in that bubble, they're not helping you. Because you fail and your people allow you to fail to communicate with your people. Aaron Costa and the other people find they fill the gap for you. The people say you wear $1,500 shoes. Yeah, no rebuttal yet. You expect me, though, to say, oh, Samson Toy is a very intelligent person. You know, I'm not going to wear $1,500 shoe. What are you looking for? That diamond under the shoe? Yeah, I can say that. But the person who have not eaten 2-3 days, why you think that person will be convinced that you can't wear those kind of shoes? And they see you and your people when you go to trips. Have all of these people coming back. They see, and you can't hide anything. By the time you come from Montreal, from the trip, Colasco on live, people see you. The people beating drum and you're passing. They see you. So they know when you go to these places, it costs money. What is it that is coming back with you? You don't have to be successful on every trip. But inform your people. I went to China today, but the Chinese said they can't make it. Oh, I will try again. My trade I'm not going for bluffing business. Y'all know my bluffing time over. I finished playing football. Now, what kind of bluffing I want to do in a player again? Who are bluffing now? Who are bluffing? I'm bluffing anybody. I'm going to those places to beg for money so that people will help us. Look at the condition we're in. Look at even if I'm that greedy. If I'm stealing all your money, you think I'm able to eat all that money all by myself? And then you're suffering like this? So I'm going to the places to beg money to ice these and just be genuine to the people. They will understand. You will cut the COP legs up. COP, they are not quite together either, Mr. President. I'm saying Samson too. I'm saying it. Look at them the last time. Look how they did that presentation they were supposed to give their stuff 1 minute. No, we're not giving nothing. Another minute they started. Immediately when the team was finished, the people started putting dagger, knives. Not literally, but knives in the back of Custer. Oh, Custer is so disrespectful. Custer don't want to work with anybody because they were not successful. If they were successful, they would claim it. They will not even let Custer have anything to do with it. Oh, but Custer is just a radio person, man, a radio personality. It was me. But because they were not successful, what they wanted, the other people call themselves what? COP, the second COP or whatever they call themselves. So, Mr. President, and this government, if you take the lead, once again, something to say no, if you take the lead in this process, if you take the lead, this is the population, this is the political issues, the demonstration, everything else is political. There's nothing here is criminal. So you're going to have to fight the political war, but the people that put you in that bubble. And I don't blame them either. I blame us. Yeah? I blame us. This position you find yourself in, all of us as Liberian put you in that position. Because when you started, we started pushing you. Oh, there ain't no book. I wanted with a man. There ain't no book, man. I don't got anything to do with you. And those people, the smart one, say, come to Papa. Yeah, doctor, we are come to Papa. I will protect your interest. You see me? That's what I do. I protect people. I've been protecting president for years. I will protect you. And look, you fall in their hand. They put their arm around you. You can't even talk to us now. Because before you say anything, they say, be careful. Anything you say right now, the people will take it and turn it against you. You got to think twice now because those are people now, they make you to trust them. You don't have any more outside. They don't want you to talk to anybody else. So that's what we are. Again, folks, Samson told Liberian Public Radio. I have here with me that's my son's school, folks. I have here with me a speech, and I'm going to be reading 98 entirety, by William G. Nyanu. He's seeking to be senator of Grand Gila County. And I thought the speech is very in line with what is happening right now. Why the people are trying to protest. And in his speech, even though he was talking to a tiny group of people from Grand Gila, but the speech itself, that could have been a national speech. There's no question asked. And you will, when I read that part, when I start reading it, you will understand that, yes, these things apply to all of us. And these are some of the reasons that we're having issue today. And once again, I'm not here to defend the government or Republic of Liberia. They can do them. So they got Falcon to defend them. But the point here is let us also agree that most of these things we're going through didn't start with Dr. Weah and his people. Because I had my show here some time ago where I told you that Madame Salih had a perfect opportunity. Well, there's nothing such word as perfect. But anyway, good opportunity to have us start all over and allow Liberians to build the structure or political structure that anybody dummy like me can be president and government will still function. But she didn't do that. She allowed her sentiment, family sentiment, whatever, took over her, and she decided only people that I know will help. Instead, if she had brought in people on the wide level, not just picking people who you know or who know your son and what have you, that government, if it was allowed to have structure, political structure, Dr. Weah and his people would have been on it now, perhaps would have been successful. When Madame Salih came in and when she left, according to the paper that I have here, 25 billion US dollar went through that government. You can say not just through the government, but international community, all of the money they put in our country. $25 billion. That's not small money. And what do we have to show for it right now? Oh, you say, but Mr. Toh, at that time, you have ML that were there, they were getting paid. Yes. So let's just give it an example. ML in total. One ML get $100 pay. If from China, you think he would take that whole $100 and send it back to China? He most likely going to spend $10, $15 in total. Okay? I'm just giving you something here. But anyway, let me go ahead and read Mr. Yanu. His, of course, I didn't ask permission, but I will read it anyway. He would say, "But why you read my letters? Well, you tell me." Well, Mr. Yanu, I have to. Excuse me. So let me read this, and what I want you to pick up, what I want you to pick from this thing here is the ideas that he put together here, and they pretty much the same problem, nothing. What's happening? He's saying what's happening in a county is also happening in a nation. It's nothing, it's the same. So let me read. But anyway, he spoke on November 30th, 2019 to the Niabo organization, Achable. And that's but they said friend. According to the definition, is that we're friends. But it's a Niabo organization in Monrovia. I'm not going to read the whole thing. He said, "Thank you for inviting me to serve as your keynote speaker during this ceremony, marking the first time you are celebrating the anniversary of your organization founding." Okay, and that's what I'm going to read here. And let me go on to the area that I want you to. Okay. In your letter, he said, in your letter inviting me to serve your guest speaker as your guest speaker, you inform me that this program is intended both to celebrate the anniversary of your organization founding and to raise funds for the construction of the modern guest house in Johnstown. Why these must remain the focus of all activities today. It is very important that we never miss the opportunity to reflect on the many serious issues facing our country and county today, and that big daily, my glasses, for attention whenever we come together. I need to pull this thing up and start reading. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to be reading like a big shot now. Okay. Where was that? Facing our country and county today, and that beg daily for attention whenever we come together like this. So in the few minutes that I have chosen to speak to you on the topic organization anniversary and effective deployment of resources that are scarce. Okay. All right, I will jump over this other paragraph. Let me go to the meanwhile. Anniversary. I mark this in the members. Okay. Anniversary and convention, as you know, are normally the forums that most organizations use to take stocks to assess where they are relative to where they want to go. Where the assessment indicates progress is lacking or slow. And this is what people at COP then supposed to be they're doing for the government. Okay? And as I read this, I will try to equate that to the COP and the government. The COP and the Custer show and whatever those of us that are here talking, the government should listen. Because I will open a line here and people will come and make comments. And not all comment is going to be for or against. So if you pick these type of information, you can take stock of where you're coming from and where you're going. Okay? The process of looking back is vital for doing meaningful work and for ensuring the organization is on course. So I encourage you to take time, if not today, then in the not too distant future, to consider how far along you are achieving your mission of bringing unity to your community and our county as a whole. Of course, as you know, mission, this is the important one. I want you from here on to pay attention. Of course, as you know, mission and vision are not achieved simply because they are articulated. Success always requires hard work supported by strategic thinking and action. And the burden of this work, Mr. President, falls on the leadership. Good and strong leaderships bring prosperity to the organization and people. Those who have had leadership position, whether of a small club, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, or a nation, and who truly understand the implication of what it means to be a leader, know that literally they carry the destiny of their organization, their people in their hands. Their organization and people will prosper or suffer setback based on the vision and skills, integrity, and wisdom with which they manage the group resource, both financial and human. Okay? Highlighting the critical role of leaders, the Chinese philosophers Confucius taught that a leader is like the wind and the people are like grass. Where the wind blows, the grass will bend. The state of organization and nation is therefore a reflection of the legacy of the leader that they have had. The state of our country, Liberia, for example, represents the collective legacy of our past leaders. Where are we today? These things that we're talking about have been on here now going to almost an hour or so. It didn't just start under Dr. Weir. These are policies. These are procedures. These are a policy that have been put in place by past leaders that continue to fail us. When do we learn? Let me go on. Okay, it was the policy and program that they exposed and promoted that gave us the country that we have today. That country, after 172 years of independence, is one that does not have something as simple as street address, and that still import something as small as toothpicks. It is the country where it takes days during the rainy season to travel a few hundred miles to many parts of the country, particularly the southeast, where the overwhelming majority of its people live in abject poverty and where the private sector is strong. We as a nation still basically live by begging and depending on international deliverance for our survival, as we did during the earlier days of the Republic. Embarrassingly, he says, Ghana, which has been independent for just 62 years, has now become our new America. We go there for practically everything, including medical, and it is even rumors that some of our leaders and permanent citizens are buying homes there. We rely heavily on its engineer and other technician for many of our technical needs. You know where I'm going with this? This was a speech that was given by Mr. William Yanu quite recently. Okay? And so what is happening in a county is the same thing happening all over the country. In one county, it's all over. Okay? So my point here of the reason I'm reading this thing, and that's not all it is, because I don't want to go through all of it. In fact, he says something very interesting also. Okay, this is the part that I like too. Many of those. Okay, I got to read this. I have to read it. We have turned. Okay, listen to this though. I have to read it. Today we see content to import most of our food. Speaking of Grandidians, most of our food and other essentials from our sister county to the north, Nima, and from Guinea and La Côte d'Ivoire. We have turned education funding, which is to support our human resources development, into a political tool that shackle many of our young people to our politicians. This is I'm going to read. I know it's happening all over the country, not just Nigeria. Instead of instituting and operating a counter-funding, objective and competitive process, many of our young people rely on politicians for support. Many of these young people basically become pawn of their punters, who do their parentage bidding often at the expense of their character and reputation. The same goes for how our people are treated. We insult them, particularly during political season, when we act on behalf, or when we act on the belief that they are only interested in getting back a rice and a few hundreds of Liberian dollars, instead of addressing the real challenges that keep them poor and dependent. So we focus not on how we can help them reclaim their self-reliant spirit and dignity, but instead perpetuate practices that make them even more dependent and beholden to politicians. These are some of the things that if the COP goes to court, they don't have much to talk about. The evidence is everywhere. This government came to power because I was in Liberia. Folks, I'm telling you right now, if the COP decide to challenge this, because in the court of law, I believe, they will have to explain themselves why they even necessary for them to have a protest. And they might want to make a big deal of it. Why do we want to protest, Your Honor? This government came to power during the inaugural program of Dr. Weah. He stated clearly, and they are evident, they are video, they are recording. He stated clearly, Liberians will not be spectators in their own country. And they can point out in the courtroom and say, look among you, spectators. Which one of you own company that this government is supporting? Which one of you here in this courtroom as we speak that has contract with the government of the Republic of Liberia that is being supported? Which one of you in this courtroom tonight that is now after the court section that you're going to go to the free port and then go and get your import, that the government made it possible for you to bring in some resources in this country for you to sell or do business so that you will survive? Which one of you, as a Liberian witnessing this issue in this court tonight, which one of you among us that will leave tomorrow and go do your own business without counting on your brothers and sisters in the diaspora? Which one? Which one of you today, as we speak in this courtroom, that have more than 1,000 or plus in the bank. Save. Which one? Which one of you here today that will not be anxious to get job with the government just so that you can survive? Which one? Oh my goodness. Do you see where I'm going with this? And the courtroom going to be silent. And they can prove with evidence that this government has not taken us anywhere. They can tell you. They can go and bring the report for the $25 million map up, where the government said they contacted certain people and these people said, no, we don't know. Those are evident. And they can come out. Your Honor, why is it, with all of these things that we have given you, do you expect us to be quiet in this country? This is a country for Dr. Weir as it is ours as well. We have the right to point out to this government, not necessarily as an opposition, but to point out to this government that our people need, their daily need must be met. And that has failed miserably. COP, don't rush yourself. The international community is looking. The international community is watching. You have established yourself. So all of you fly-by-night lawyer on Facebook like Sansinto and don't listen to us. We're not good lawyers. If we're good lawyers, we'll be practicing law in Liberia or somewhere else. I'm going to listen to me here and say, oh, Sansinto say he's lawyer. What lawyer? A lawyer are sitting down here every day eating kesali, a lawyer? That's not the point. The point that I'm making here, COP, you can turn this thing around. You fight. It's nothing to say you're a loser. No, far from it. What this government, if this letter that everyone's talking about, if this letter is genuine, the position the government have put you in is a winning position. Unless the other institution of the government decide to take the side of the government without even looking at your case. But I'm not saying that you should rush to court, because the court system itself is not quite there yet. However, you can take this case, even if you don't want it to be adjudicated in Liberia, you can take it to ECOWA court. And the government will listen. Don't rush it. These people have given you the opportunity now to even tell your supporters. To tell your supporter, okay, they want to play by the rule. They think that they're more respectful to the rule than we are. Let's go ahead and go to court. And there will be lawyers, good lawyers in Liberia that will be willing to work with you. But if you take the route, who are they? They got no reason to stop us. People are suffering. People are dying. We're not going to listen to them. Then you're pretty much playing into their hands. That's what I would suggest. If you allow them to control the narrative, then you're not doing yourself a favor. And I know there are some smart people in COP. They don't need my advice. I'm not advising them. But that will be the perfect situation that will help all of us. At least let us sleep at night with peace. Knowing fully well that COP most likely will take on the intellectual level and take it to the next level intellectually, that is. No violence. Because I don't believe that people like Henry Custer will go on his show day in, day out for children to die. I found that hard to believe, my people. I found that hard to believe. And I don't also believe that Dr. Weir will want blood on his hand either. So, this is a perfect opportunity for us. COP now, you're in a position to help strengthen the institution of the Republic of Liberia. Because you can expose, through this process, you can expose everything, all of the hating agenda in our country. By you going to court, if the court decide to play the DD bag with us, our people, the Liberian people, the international community will see through it. And they have spent a lot of money. And people like, Chief Justice, he's not about ready to say for a few $100 business, oh, okay, I'll just go out. No, I don't think so. I think he's a man of character. And I believe that when these people get together from these different countries, they respect themselves. The $16 billion, you saw how bad it was when Dr. Weah was in the United States when the news broke. He himself talking, he said, people laughing at me. He said, people, who taking $16 billion to do what? So all of these people that are serving in these positions, they have characters. Let's test it. Go to court. No violence, please. Go to court. Use the Liberian court system. Because they quoted something about constitution here and they test that. Test it. Let me tell you again, I'm going to be opening my line here very shortly, but let me tell you this again. The system itself, I told you guys the last time, and I believe that was something from one guy on CNN, Fakaris or something like that, and he also stated that this whole democracy and what have you, blah, 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 those are all bluffing ideas. They're bluff. And the day the citizens call the bluff of the government, that's when blood starts sharing. But we all expect and we accept the bluff of, it's not like we're stupid, we don't know that the government bluffing. Something to, yeah, you're under arrest. Okay, let's go. I agree for the government to bluff. And you can say, Mr. Toy, if you reject, they will beat you, they will take you anyway. Yes. But the moment I say no, I call their bluff. Even though they will do, because I'm one person and you got thousands of them, they will take me. But at the moment that word come out of my mouth to say no, you're not arresting me, I've already called their bluff. And this, I'm asking all of us to continue to allow ourselves for the government to continue to bluff us. Because that is the system that holding us together. When the citizenry called the bluff of Dr. Doe, Civil War started. Because nobody want to listen to any kind of rule that comes from the executive mansion. And the executive mansion want to enforce the rule. But the citizens have called their bluff. And so they resisted. And here comes the war. So we know when the citizens reject the bluffing of the government, the bluffing of the institution, what comes next? The institution must survive. And the institution will do everything possible to survive. But I'm saying to you tonight, no cause to fear. We got time. COP, go to court. Take it to court. If that's what it says, if this letter, if whatever letter that is sending here, if it is genuine, find your way to court. It might delay it. That's fine. But in fact, if you do go to court, most likely, not only will you win, but you will gain more. Because the court then might instruct the executive to carry out certain policies that are within your demand. Because the court can say, these are rules. The court, you can even go into some of the laws that were passed by the legislature. And some of these laws are being violated as we speak by the executive. And the court, if you point that out to the court, I'm sure if you get a good lawyer, they'll point that out. And the court can tell the executive, if they're genuine, you, the executive, continue to violate this particular article in the Constitution. Therefore, you must apply or accept or go with the Constitution. And let's see if they're going to say no. And let's see if they will say no to the Constitution. If they will say no to the justices. And if they do that, the international community, who is a judge for all of us, is also watching. You got 4 more years. Must he get out this year anyhow? You got time. For me, this is such a wonderful, wonderful period. It's a music to my ears. As member of Liberty Party, I love this. Because the longer Dr. Weah and his people stay in, the more they give us to work with. Now, let me tell you this too. We're not stupid. We know. Because who knows? Immediately, maybe a year or so before the election, Dr. Weah and his people will come up with some kind of impactful project that will impact the lives of citizens of Liberia. We're prepared for that as well. Some of us are. And we're campaigning against that. Where were you when we were where? Sam Sinto, folks. Let me now open the line. And I will really appreciate you guys to give me a call here. And let me hear your voice. Please do not discuss much about the letter, because as I stated, I have not gone deep into it, so I will be of a lost, so to speak, because some of you are much more involved. Some of you are much more in tune with all that is happening on Facebook than I am. So please discuss it, but just give us a breathing room here, to say to speak. Sam Sinto, Liberian Public Radio. Let me put this one on, and then we can open the line.
Don't disrespect me because I get on papa. You will not disrespect because you see me in papa. Don't disrespect me because I get on papa. You will not disrespect because I will on donga. We not broken, but we can make it happen. We not millionaire, but we can keep it popping. We not broken, we can make it happen. We not millionaire, but we can keep it popping. I go.
Sam Sinto, Liberian Public Radio. Just hold on 1 minute, sir. The what?
All right, you need to know your music because the music is buzzing my ear.
That was the intent. That's why you're conservative. The liberal progressive is on, and that's why you're conservative people in myself. We don't get along because I play the music so that y'all will know what's on your mind, sir. That's my boss. I'm talking to you. You come and fire me.
I know you are. I know it was done on purpose. But let me just tell you, so ridiculous letter. You have thrown a lot of red meat out there here this evening. I am just not sure for what purpose or who desire you try to please, because I see yourself now like a politicians in an octopus test. You want to be one point at certain place, in a twinkle of an eye, you want to be place. Are you the judge now, Mr. Toad, that you are giving some sort of assurance to the COP? And you sound a little bit being judgmental here this evening. And I want to say that here. Look, Liberia is a sovereign nation. I have no doubt under the constitutions that require each and every Liberian to exercise their right, including protest, demonstration, but it's also enshrined in the constitution that it must be done peacefully. And you deliberately, on purpose of your liberal idea, to also project that. Yeah, there's no question about that. All right? That the CDC-led government, it has been a mess, and it's still a mess. And the COP, you folks, the Liberty Party, all of you guys are not providing alternative into this whole thing. And the ridiculous statement by some of the COP members, the Harry Costas, and all of those people who have been reaching threats on the nation, is also a crime. It's also tangible to a crime. They need to answer for that. Look, Liberia, in order for Liberia to go, we have to be very honest to ourselves. The government have done the same. The opposition have done the same. They have not conducted themselves, and they are still not willing to conduct themselves to see themselves as alternative. And this is where the disappointment came from. And I was able to talk to my opponent Edmund Gray yesterday. And from the security perspective, he put it rightly into context and disappointed in Joseph Boyka, who happens to be the political head of the ruling Unity Party. Emmanuel Gonga of the Economic Freedom Fighter said that in a meeting a couple of years ago, all right, when he went to the Constitution to say, yes, you can demonstrate, yes, you can have a peaceful assembly, but any act that group of Liberians that will want to execute, to call for a certain government, whether you support the government or not, to call for a certain government to forcibly resign, it's the rebellion acts. We must face it. We need to have laws and order in the country. So let me ask this question here to the opposition folks and even the CDC. Let's look at the both houses of government. Who is in charge? Is the opposition. What the law says, the intentions of the president starts from the legislature. So why are they allowing all of these dramas and all of these things that are going on that nobody can raise their question, raise concern? Are they opposition? Who are they? What is their status? We need to know that. Why are they not even holding these government officials? These are all sycophants, and they are doing it because they're just doing it for themselves. And I think it is time for us Liberians to speak. And I'm disappointed up to this time that the former vice president is part of that collaborative force. I wouldn't know whether that marriage will hold because, first of all, they will be rumbling, they will be struggling. All of them want to be president, and that's the discussion they're going to be doing. And the most of their race, the George, we are the race, or at the end of the day, George, we are the end up being the president because they cannot come out with a certain decision. Everybody wants to be president. That he, Joseph Boyka, have not taken the definitive position. That he, Abraham Darros Dillon, who is now the sitting senator, who has the constitution to his advantage, who is being seen as another dominant in the political dynasties of Liberia, should be taking the road now to persuade his opposition folks that are in the country to tell us, look, this is not our hypothesis. This is not an educated guess that we are on. If the president violates the law, they must come up clean and let the Constitution speak to that effect, and they must be able to lobby and hold all of these people, the Samuel Tuwe, and these people who have regularly used the Liberian people money to bring them to book. But they are not doing that. They are not doing that. They are not speaking to the minds and souls of these things that are affecting the Liberian people. Instead, they are behaving like the very CDC.
Okay.
So tell us, where are we heading into this whole thing?
All right. Okay, Mr. So, thank you for that question. We appreciate it. And
I know it is not right with you because
because what you let me say this here. Let me say this, Mr. So, what you just talked about, those are ideas that the liberal progressive himself I don't agree with, because if you're going to say because these people have certain characters in them and therefore you're going to look at their character instead of the message, you're missing the point.
I said their utterances have been ridiculous, and they should have conducted themselves responsibly.
Mr. So, they have presented, Mr. So, but give me a chance. They presented whatever obvious issue they have. They presented to the government since June. Up to this time, we have not heard anything from the government. Now, I'm not in favor of the protester coming and demanding that the president must step down. That I'm not in protest. I'm not in favor. But here's the thing. My position is they have the right to demonstrate. My other position that I have. Hold on. My other position that I have is you cannot tell me that in the Constitution that it says if you're going to demonstrate, you must demonstrate based on 1, 2, 3, 4 reason. None. They don't tell you, the Constitution will not tell you what you must demonstrate for and what should be your demand. Now, if your demand, the reason why I'm not in favor of this type of demand, because for me, it violates the sense of human, my sense of being human. That's all it is. But they have the right to demonstrate.
Let us not read. I agree. And you heard me saying that crystal clear. But look, we in the fourth essay, it is our responsibility to educate and inform the audience I am not here to please seditions. I'm not here to please opposition. We need to tell people, in the same vein, the very Constitution says, Article 17 says, all persons at all times in an orderly and peaceful manner shall have the right to assemble and consult upon the common goods to instruct their representatives.
Here we go. So they are common goods. No. They are common goods. They are common goods. For them, their common goods is that the president must step down. That's their common goods. Who are you to say that particular common goods is not?
Okay, listen. Yeah, that's what they are saying. That is good. They have the right to a petition. They are representative, but they can't say we will remain in the streets or interested until the president.
Does it say in the Constitution? Does it say in the Constitution the duration of protest?
And I can tell you, in the government, whether we like it or not, whether we support Georgia, we don't support Georgia, that's not it. I'm talking about Liberia is a sovereign nation. Anyone that would make comments that has the propensity to bring insecurity in the country, remember, the government who has the right to protect lives and property, like only you as a Liberian, we are saying, let them protest. And the Constitution says it must be done in the orderly manner. You can't say, I'm going there to rule something to behind the microphone. Okay. You can have your disagreement. They can have their resolution. They can have their position statement and present it and push it forward.
Okay, but let me ask you this other question. And now that you're saying that because I'm a liberal, my view seem to go contrary to that of your conservative view, which I'm happily in favor of that particular. But let me ask you this. All of the statement that I made here tonight, one of the most important things as far as I'm concerned was to ask the COP if this letter, if it is genuine, to challenge the letter through the court system. What do you make of that?
That's the right thing to do. We must always put the judicial process to test until it fails us. We did it in the last 2017 election. It plays out well, but Liberians who didn't know the CA was the CA as a troublemaker, but we tested the judiciary system. Is everything okay now? That's not what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying, what I want you to get out of, Mr. So, what I want you to get out of is to, and I'm not saying this is what you're doing, but I want people to get out of blaming or castigating the messenger. Let them pay attention to the message, and the message here is clear.
So
These people,
what's the message?
The message, from my understanding, I could be wrong, but from my understanding, their message, reason why they want to demonstrate, there are certain a proposal they put forward to the government. The government have not responded to any of those things. Number one. Second, they're saying to the government, you are incapable. You are incapable of leading us because look at the economy. It went down. Look at water. No water. Look at food. We ain't got food. What if all of these things that I'm saying to you, if the government is unable to provide the avenue for people to fetch for themselves, then what is the essence of this government staying in power, Mr. So?
Yes. Then is the view. This is what the Constitution says, and it makes it very clear. Petition your government to step aside and see whether the government will do it or not. But you can't say, you can't have it both ways. Something you can't have it both ways. You can't call me at a negotiation table. You know, we are behaving the same way Charles Taylor and Samuel do and get us to be where we are. Okay, we want to negotiate. Before we can negotiate, you must step down.
Okay.
I mean, look.
No. That's not what they're saying. That's not what they're saying. That's not what.
No, I'm telling you, but that's another version.
No. I'm not. Well, maybe from your understanding, but from my understanding, that's not what it.
Step down. When you say step down, can you?
Well, step down. Step. They're not asking for negotiation. They're not asking for negotiation. We, the citizens, those of all that want to be the big brothers, they at least talk show, whatever. We're the ones suggesting negotiation. But as far as COP is concerned, they want to demonstrate. Now, the point that I'm making, and I want people to.
Are you saying they should? No, listen. So, are you saying yes? Okay, we are on pace when it comes to demonstration because those are the qualities of our democracy, and our Constitution made that crystal clear. So, are you saying the protest should go ahead at the same time demanding?
No, Mr. So, then let me. That's fine. Your question is quite clear, but let me ask you this: does it say in the Constitution that if you're going to demonstrate, these are the reason why you must demonstrate. Does it say that in the Constitution?
Well, they would have to specify.
And that's what they're specifying. Then who are you? Who are you to agree to disagree with their specification?
But then it is. The government also has the right to maintain law and order. So when you are coming and say, okay, you come with your petition, but I have to leave anyhow. So do you think, is that a peaceful petition?
Well,
is that something?
And that's why this is Mr. So, you're trying to back at the wrong tree here this evening, because Samson told the liberal progressive Bloku is going nowhere on this, and I'm not going to take a second bike seat into anyone on this, because why? I think what I've been suggesting, I'm suggesting.
So what you need to do, go back to your Liberty Party. You guys go back to your Liberty Party and try to season this year and go through the process. You guys are
Mr. So,
why is it a big deal? And that's the same thing. It's a shame on them for them to even allow Kabila Jana. Hold on, for them to even allow Kabila Jana to even speak. The same very opposition legislature, the one voted, whether they voted for or voted against, that's where the decision came from. So to show how disingenuous these people here, they do not love their country. You can't.
You see, this is.
Was removed.
Yeah, but when you say disingenuous, don't love their country, then you're going into an area that you are not qualified to defend, and you can't do that. So, but anyway, that's besides the point. Mr. So, the point here that I'm trying to make here, as far as Liberty Party is concerned, I'm glad that we didn't win, because the Liberian people now will judge the position of CDC and that of the Liberty Party. Let's see, Mr. You will not allow me to finish my statement, because when I'm speaking about Liberty Party, we are the best, nothing else. Liberty Party the best, because we have the clout, we have the know-how. But anyhow, I'm glad that we didn't win. Now, the people of the Republic of Liberia, genuinely will now.
You didn't win.
Listen to me, Mr. So. I'm not one person. Liberty Party, you got thousands of people. I'm expressing my individual view. So please don't try to quit that to that of Liberty Party. But let me make this point.
You are not a genuine Liberty Party.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You're not. You are one of those seditions.
But in fact, if you call me sedition, we have Liberty Party, former Liberty Party chairman who is not a member of CDC. So that's not something for me to say I'm shying away from, but I'm not a sedition. By the way, Mr. So, thank you very much. Okay. We appreciate the spirit of engagement. Folks, that's what we do here on Liberian Public. Mr. So is the CEO of Liberian Public Radio.
I will be on here, and I'm still trying to authenticate that letter. To see what I think of. I don't buy some of the time. Anything on the section that can be anybody make up, anybody can advance, and until we can get authentication letter as the government position, then we will address that way. And
Exactly. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, folks. Again, that's Mr. So, Francis Zion So, who is the CEO of LPR. But the point that I was making for Liberty Party on a very serious note, I said, I'm glad that we didn't get it, but because now when we're coming back with our political leaders and all of the smart people in Liberty Party, when we're coming back, people will now recognize, these people have something to offer, because they will now compare us to that of CDC, and they will see how miserable job CDC is doing, and they will find out that Liberty Party is quite well ready and prepared to lead. That's all this is about. We're not going to go through violence, what have you. COP and the people that are responsible, those are responsible people. They are not violent people. They're not going to take anybody in the street to go kill people. That's not what they do. Please. So anyway, give me a call, Samson told Liberian Public Radio. I'm not up there. And people are the debate on the internet too is getting hot out there. Folks, I know on a very serious, I'm suggesting that COP try to challenge it. If this Facebook court letter, if it's genuine, only if it is genuine, because I don't know much about it yet. But if it is genuine, then I think COP needs to challenge it through the court system. But then the other people have been writing here, the court is not independent. Well, you're going to have to go. That's all we have. You see, those of you that continue to cut the legs of the institution that is being built in Liberia, not trusting those institutions, being somehow dismissive of those institutions, then you're not helping us. Because the only way we're going to survive, especially the institution, is by us testing it. Samson to Labron Public Radio, what's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. My name is Amos George, calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. George. We appreciate it. This time around, I'm gonna save your name with your number. Go ahead, Mr. George.
Well, I just want to say this: the Constitution of Liberia, it answers Liberians the right to assemble, to demonstrate, and to petition the government when the safety and happiness is being jeopardized. So, this whole issue, government issuing all the freezing and things, I think they just want to heighten more tension in the country. People at all times, they say so. But one thing I want to know for some of these people who seen that these people want to destroy Liberia. John 7, these people demonstrated. Not take and leave it. If they read a petition to the government, asking them that there was everything to be done. From John up, the government had never responded to these people.
Yes.
Now, maybe they say 25,000, 30,000. That's a large number of people. When they turn out to say something, as a leader, you must address it. Whether you will do it or not, you must address these people, their grievances. Recognize them as people, they are part of the country, that things are not going right. But the government has been silent, taking them to say everything is all right, but you have no right to do anything in this country. And this is why I'm feeling this demonstration. Because certain segment of the society now look like they have been neglected by the government. And I said it before, right now there's a power vacuum in Liberia. Mr. Union President is that he's the president and some to it. Why person we cannot get on the national radio to address some of the crucial issues that are facing the country? Why? Why can he call a press conference or look in the face, in the camera, and tell the people, this time we are going through it. But I'm trying to do everything in my weak way. Why? But he said down there, nobody in the country doing anything. You just are going to come and throw some grand meat to the people. Talk rubbish. This is what is happening in Liberia. Everybody knows. People call you everything. They tell you how things are hard. Today there was another guy on the platform. The guy said he went to get 10,000 Liberian dollars from the bank. The bank told him will give $1,000 out of his own money. Mm-hmm. You think that's something that will sit where we put in the country? And this is trying to fuel the whole thing here. You can let all that in twist or sedition or whatever you want to put there. When people get in the street, the language will change. Because of you, they not say it. They did not put any limit on time of people supposed to stand to demonstrate. They never.
Right.
So when we are talking to them, we should cut out some of the things Mr. Costa, I said it many times. I said some of the things Mr. Costa said, I don't like it. Some of his approach, the way he talked to people, sometimes I said, I don't like it. But despite that, they have a genuine grievance. There's a genuine grievance that they are talking about. So why the government cannot look at the genuine thing and say, you know what happened? Your country was sent to the church of so. Give a time where they try to address the issue. Why they can't do it? Why they are not so big? That they are living in a bubble. They're not listening to the people again. The very people that gave them the power, like they are not listening to them again. This is where our trouble always comes from. We all here got we all have interests, from different angles. But the core of the matter is that the way that they're going is not going is not in the right direction. And someone must take charge of the leadership of our country, which is President Weir. You don't want to talk anything, some make us talk anything, the people will not listen. When they say the president is speaking, everybody will go to the radio to hear what the president has to say.
That's right.
But he's not doing it. He's completely silent. Like everything in the country is normal, which of course is not. People every day, every week they have to jump in the street to demonstrate to get paid. People go to the bank, they say they can't get the money. Is that real? People are hungry. They tell you, people call you, they are hungry. There's no food. They can't afford. Is that real? No. So why the president cannot come up and address the issue? Just the minister issue all the threats. You think now we stop the people? The last time you got 30,000, 40,000 people in the street. Then you have armed men posted to every corner, but yeah, but they turn up. Why you think this kind of again when things are getting much harder? So I don't want to say to every Liberian. I said it before. Live, I said I will not support the protest because I heard something that Mr. Costa said. I said, oh no. And I always said he had an interview with James Bucket. When Bucket asked him, he said, according to the Constitution, if President we are gold, the vice president will take over. Or if both of them go, then the speaker will take over. Then I said, oh no. If that is the case, then I would prefer living with George we can enjoy and enjoy our kid. Enjoy our kid in most of it, split and craft it. So I said, if that is the case, then I would prefer living with George for the next 6 years. So that way I back off on the protest. And people come and they say, oh no, he misspoke. I said, well. I said, if that is the case,
this is I don't mean to interrupt, but this is exactly the point that I've been making, because if the government take the lead, not so much of taking lead for the end of calling people to demonstrate against itself, but to take the lead, and you will find out very quickly that there will be people say, well, wait a minute, well, they're not what we say we want. This is not what we think, because they think about it is this. If the government is silent, as you're saying, if the government not speaking, especially the president, because these things, Eugene Falcon talking, how people eating coffee and people eating palm butter, those things, and nobody listening to those. But if the president himself is not speaking on these national issues, the honorable people who are honorable Yeka Koluba and Costa, they will improvise, and they will fill in the gaps. And there's nothing you can do to stop that, because once they fill in the gap, they say, "Oh, but wait a minute, you think I lie? You think I lie? What? How many times you got paid this month? I mean, in the last 2 months, the man got paid. Okay, where you think the money at? The money, the people take the money and go do something with it in the nightclub. They go do. Who would not believe it? You haven't gotten paid, and out of a sudden, the government cannot tell you why there's no money. The government is not telling you what the money is. Out of a sudden, somebody is telling you who say, oh, what? Costa can be on his show and say, oh, I just got something here, some kind of New York. Somebody just tell me this, and he tells you what the person, he's not calling the name. Why will you not believe that then if there's nothing else coming from behind that to challenge it? You know, those are kinds of things that frustrate some of us sometimes.
There's no pushback. There's no pushback from the government. You can go back challenge the government. None of them can come and say, nobody can say that. No, it's not true. Here Costa come and say this. They cannot dispute it.
No.
They will not even comment. Not even dispute it. Nobody will even come out to say anything. They just silent in the country.
Right. Okay.
And you telling people that there's a leader in the country. This kind of protest that people are talking about, they are gearing up. And the president is not saying, hey, you know what happened? Let me get out there. Let me go to Yokota. Let me go to Basso. Let me go to Banga. Let me find the ground here and talk to the people. Nobody is doing it.
Nope.
Nobody. And you are seeing that all the people. So thank you. So thank you very much. But I just see now we Liberians must be very careful because the Constitution is the living document that we have. So everything we do, we got to work within the framework of that Constitution.
Right.
Whether
Thank
we
you.
like it or not, that is what our forefathers did, and with that document is living. Everybody, any Liberian has the right to take a bucket and go sit down and say, "I always say today, I'm not certified."
Yeah.
You can't do anything. Once you're not starting to go for that thing, you can't do anything. So
Thank
the
you.
government should say that if people demonstrate and you cause problems, we'll hold you accountable.
Yeah.
But you can't say the people have no right to accept it.
No, you can't.
So
Thank you.
sir.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, Samson told Liberian Public Radio, my number is up there. Give me a call and give me your view as well. But another exactly what I was saying here earlier, and that is the government. I'm not saying the government should respond to every accusation that is out there, but when these people, Costa is eating their lunch. It's quite simple. He's eating your lunch. When Costa comes on air, he don't start talking until he get over 1,000 people. Then he start talking. Every night. To us here is night. To you in Liberia is in a day. Okay? And then he get more than 1,000, almost 2,000 sometimes. At one time. And whenever he says something, it gets to these people's ears. And here's other thing that I want to say here. With respect to Costa. Costa, for me, the same way that I view the soccer players in the 70s. In the 70s, when the government of the Republic of Liberia honored Toba, the young progressive was giving Toba a hard time. But a lot of people were not paying attention to it. And one of the things that I believe was happening in our country, well, football. Because every time IE and Barrow come on, the place is packed all over Monterey. Who get time to talk politics when IE and Barrow playing? When you want to bring politics in, you think when IE and Barrow playing, then you're going to stand there and talk about what Tobo ain't do what. Nobody will listen to you. So I believe the soccer, the football business those days helped to hold the glue together. Okay? Now, then you say, but what happened? Because people eventually started gravitating towards the progressive and start seeing things for themselves. It's the same type of situation. Custer, I keep saying this. Whether you like his character or not, he's serving a purpose in that country. Custer show. People come on his show. I'll give you an example. The government of the Republic of Liberia at one time decided they were going to get people from Senegal to come and manage the fishery in Liberia without consulting the people who doing fishery business in Liberia. And who the people went to? They went to Costa. Costa picked up their case. Before you know, the Senegalese people said, we ain't able. Have you heard Costa talk about the fishery negotiation the government had between, I believe, Europe and the people in fish business in Liberia? Have you heard that lately? Has it become a major talking point for Costa? Because the government learned its lesson before they started negotiating with the people. The fishery people in Liberia themselves were involved. So they certified. Costa is helping the government. And people will say, but Mr. Toh, you crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. Costa is some of the things he's picking up and speak, even including Ronnie Shea. They bring out topic that if the government listen, a lot of things will be helpful in our country. Yeah, Costa has an ego. I mean, anybody. I mean, he wants to be president. That's fine. It's a young person. He's intelligent, highly educated. Will soon be, hopefully by the time you get out of here, you'll be a PhD. But one of the points that I'm trying to make here is don't look at him as an individual because he throws on his. It's a radio talk show. What do you guys? How you want him to come up? Okay, today, boys and girls, I think we'll just go ahead and let me tell you something. And let me tell you, think you want audience. So he has, and plus he had command of the English language as well. So he throws him out there. Some of us are not comfortable with those kinds of language that comes out, calling the president certain names and things like that. But that's for me. That is not germane to the main issues that I'm looking at. That's not what exactly that I'm looking at, because I'm saying, okay, Costa, what are you talking about tonight? In all of the things you will be talking about, how, look, somebody just said me that, the president of government, the man went to Hero, he didn't do nothing that. All that stuff, that's something that I just laugh about it. But overall, there's a certain message within that particular show that will be issues that are affecting our people. Okay? Costa, if the government really serious for corruption, trying to curtail corruption in our country, people like Costa then could be utilized. Because Costa, you say, but you pay, you will shut. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So all of these people must be utilized. They must be able to get involved. Samson told LeBron Public Radio, what's your name, where you're calling from, what's on your mind?
This is Amos Comaya. I'm calling from New Jersey.
Thank you for calling, sir. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Mr. So thank you. I have few things on my mind. You know, I follow the talk show hosts. I follow you guys who on the front page, trying to see how Liberia can be better, how our people can rise from the poverty and at least enjoy their country. I was just listening to Pickle Quinn saying that during certain protests, he was not against, but he was not supporting it. And later on, he said at that time, the best thing to do is to see job we are stepping down. And now, this is the time like a group of Liberians who the leader is the COP, chairman of the COP. We all have come together. We say, Joe, we must step down because the way he's proceeding with the country is not right, and we are suffering. Our people are suffering because we are in the diaspora. We send money to our people call it here and there, and the suffering is too much, and we are being embarrassed on a daily basis. But now, my question was to him. I tried to call him, but he pick me up. It's not like I hate him. So they're saying, some people say, okay, the process is not necessary. We should pass through the legislature, or we wait for the time for your weapon to be over. Then I asked them, well, who can we believe? Who can we trust now? Because I want to ask this question, and I will come back to you. And all the advocates, you guys, I want to ask you guys, who can we believe? Because you people, you're trying to help us and help the people. You're speaking for the people. But at the same time, and like we are seeing different tones. You don't want to agree with certain things, and you say you want to speak to the issue. And the one thing that making you guys to get popularity, to get people on to listen to you guys, is because you guys are speaking for the Liberian people. You got that clear. There's nobody, because they are handsome or they speak English, is why people listen to them. People listen to you guys because you are speaking for the masses. And nobody want to say the lead. Now, Elizabeth Costa have put yourself on the front page, and a lot of the advocates We say that in America, we follow you guys, I listen to you guys louder than anything, and nobody will take that stand to say, okay, I'll go on the forefront. Now, Costa has taken upon himself. He has risked his life twice going in Liberia. He's not just sitting in America yet. He can leave his business, he go Liberia. He leave his school, going in Liberia. And some of you advocated, we are here, sitting here and doing your job, and even tell us now. Nobody want to take the lead. Don't take the lead. They have problem with him. You say, oh, when he leave, when President we leave, who will take over? People have problem with that. And he go by the Constitution. It's not what the Constitution says. When Chancellor left, Chancellor was back, who left in charge? Moses Black. So after Chancellor left, did the war continue in Liberia? No. So everybody has their way of governing the state. You can't speak this down to do that. What we are doing, you will do it. So a Joa was saying, she don't want to become the president. Why? Because I'm going to the Constitution. Going by the Constitution or the Bobo Kima. We say, I mean, for Bobo Kima, the already have Bobo Kima proceeding in the government as a speaker. So what you want for Costa to say? You want for Costa, the people want for Costa to say that when Joia stepped down, he will become the president. That's what they say. Then what people will say about him? They will say, oh, you're going, that's self-interest. Because you're doing it because you want to be president. And that's what people will say. And the mayor make it clear that you go by the Constitution. And the Constitution said that. When the president stepped down, the vice president must step in. And the vice president is covered, or the secretary is ill and what have you, the speaker of the house will step in. That's the Constitution of the law. That's the Constitution. Then what people are going saying that because they want to play by it and you pass no fault by it.
Okay.
Why you're trying to tell us? You're the advocate. Why you're trying to tell us? And nobody wants to lead, and people are proud with him.
All right.
And let me conclude. I want to tell you guys, whosoever advocating for the Liberian people, if you have three person or 20 person follow you, listen to you, you have to know that it's not because of your education. It's because you are speaking for the Liberian people. That's what people can listen to you. And I'll tell my brother Seko Kone, people listen to him, people listen to you, Mr. To, because you are speaking the truth of the Liberian people. We want for somebody to take off on this government. But if you are talking about changing, let me tell you, you will not get followers.
Okay, thank you.
People can talk against Costa and why? Because he's taking the lead. And Costa having a change overnight because we are monitoring you people's speech. We are listening to your English on a daily basis. When we say lead with the government that's not proceeding well with the people, forget it. Your population will drop. Don't vote for it.
Thank you.
Don't say not yet.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, folks, Samson told Liberian Public, the gentleman, the young man spoke eloquently. I mean, that's understandable. Those of us that come on that platform, we have to be truthful. But my brother, just like you, like many other Liberians, and then I'll be truthful with you as well. We sometimes conflict as anybody else. Because these things that are happening, these are emotional issues. And the sad thing is none of us have the $1 billion to be able to solve the issues. And so sometimes not everything the government is doing is wrong. And not everything the opposition is doing is wrong either. So how do you marry those differences? That is the difficult question for all of us. I've been out here now going to almost 2 hours. And you go back and play some of the video that I've been saying. You say, oh, but the man speaking both sides of the mouth. Because it is difficult. It is difficult. If you take a position like Eugene Falcon, no compromise, then you're not serious. So those of us, especially me, my position here, the way I see things, is to see reason, to find a way forward. I'm not saying what I'm saying to you or what I'm suggesting, whatever that I'm saying is the truth or that it is the truth that I know. You don't have to agree with me. And I don't expect you to agree with me either. Challenge me. And in the process, you're also challenging yourself. And that's why I call it intellectual platform, where we'll come here, we don't insult. Because here's the thing, I grew up in Toll Town, for Christ's sake. Cussing that me, I don't know cussing. That means something to I will not know cussing, I beg you. But the point here, on a very serious note, if I come here and start insulting, you will come in with insult as a result, and we will have nothing to discuss about. Okay? People come here, if I go now and start reading some of the things people have written on my platform here tonight, some of them are not germane to what we're talking about. Some of them have outright rude, some are insulting. But I don't have control over that. I must be able to control myself. And if I open my phone for you to talk in it, and you start insulting, that I have control over. Okay? So let me just say this again. This is not something that we take very lightly. These are difficult subject matters. Because I don't want to be the reason tomorrow for somebody to get hurt. No, far from it. And that's why when I'm speaking about somebody, when I'm using language describing somebody, I try to be very careful what comes out of my mouth about that person. I want to describe that person even if I don't agree with them. But I must do so with respect. I must do so with responsibility. Because that's what I want you, the audience, to be able to do. If you engage in each other and respecting the view of the other person, then we're going to go farther than that. Because if we respect my view, you will want to listen to me. That doesn't mean you have to agree with me. And then I will listen to you as well. Respect your view. Let me listen to you. What do you have to say? And how do we then bring that together to have a pass so that we have a point of connection? Because you have opposition, you have government. The government is not going to sit down there for you to run them over. No, they're not going to do it. They're going to challenge it. So what is the next step? Say, for example, if this letter coming from the Facebook letter supposedly coming from the Justice Minister, if it is true, I'm suggesting that the COP should then use that opportunity to strengthen the institution for which they're fighting for. You think these people are trying to get a protest just so that the government will step down, a new government? That's institution. They're trying to change an institution because the institution that they believe in is not working for them, according to them. So by then, okay, we challenge this other institution. There are three form of I call it three branches of government we have in Liberia, and they're supposed to be independent. Now, other people say they're not. Well, that's fine. Expose it. Because if COP had decided to take this case to court, the case is going to be followed by many Liberians. We're not going to be satisfied with the result, all of us. Other people say, no, I don't agree with that result. But the international community that is helping us to survive will see that we Liberians are out of the violent stage That's the point I want you to get. Let people feel that when we have issue, we want to follow the law. We don't go fighting each other. Because we're just coming from war. Hey, the people over there, they will not stop until they fight, man. You're watch and see. The Ghanaians will say. The Nigerian will say. The Ivorian will say. The Sierra Leonean will say. But what do we say in response? No, we passed that stage. We don't know what happened. We don't know why we got into that war like that. But we're not going to go relitigate the war. Those who are responsible for the heinous crimes must be punished if they're found guilty by the system that the COP, if they follow this process that I'm suggesting, they will build that system, and that system must have the capability of dealing with the war crime issues. This is how you strengthen that system. That's what I'm suggesting. Because if you're cynical, they don't put in a Georgia. I appointed them, and you go there, you don't get anything. They will be in favor of Georgia. At what point do we test that system? You got lawyers in Liberia. You got some lawyers that will be willing to take the case because they also want to challenge. They can't just get up and go challenge the Supreme Court or challenge the government on issues. They must have case. Let's give every one of us the opportunity to strengthen the institution. We can come out here with the platform finish, you go to the next one, people angry. People will always be angry. But it should be our job, those of us that comes on this platform, to ease the pains of our brothers and sisters. You can't inflame the situation by sending out some incendiary statement. Oh, this government is so corrupt. These people stealing every day. Then how else the people who are going to be calling, they're already angry. How do you soothe their pain? The fact that there's no money. None of us have the money to go and send money to Liberia. And okay, if I get $1 billion, okay, no money in the bank, okay, I'm going to send $550,000 right now, $500 million. Okay, let's use that. Then I can come out and say, okay, your cost any way you want. Your cost anybody you want, because I can't help them. But if I don't have the money to help them, then I tell them to get angry more. How am I solving the issue? You see the point I'm making, folks? And therefore, I'm saying to all of us that have these platforms and things like that, use this platform to ease the tension. And let's have the opportunity between each of us for us to have a genuine discussion. These things are very painful, and none of us going to glass over that. You heard a young man here earlier. He said, we're fathering you. We're coming on your platform not because you can speak English. Man of me from Total, what English I know, sir? So, but he said, we come on there for people to tell us. First, tell us the truth. Then how do we find a solution? The thing most of us seem to not to understand, most of our problems in Liberia always start from here. So why the solution cannot come from a place here? You got these young Liberians, highly educated. You got the older Liberians that have already, they're highly educated, work in the field. I saw one of my brothers here already. He's in the metal field. He helped people for their mind to ease out. Those who suffer from war and think that he can treat them. Yeah, man, yeah, he's working. That's the kind of people that you can use in Liberia with all that trauma issue in Liberia. But we don't want to go and look for the right people. But we cannot explain to the government to find the right people by cussing the government. Then the government say, I don't want to talk to you. You cussed me already. How am I going to talk to you? So you come to these kinds of platforms and be civil, be sincere, be truthful, but be civil and respectful and responsible in your pronouncement. And if we do that, we'll be successful. Because I tell you what, you can't get you can't get angry laughing. It ain't happening. Okay. So that's all that I'm gonna say here tonight. It's a wonderful evening on a Monday afternoon to have brothers and sisters watching. Like you say, it's not like you don't have anything to do, but we want to appreciate you guys continue to watching. Like I said, I don't know English. You'll continue to watching. Continue watching. You gonna believe me? I don't know English. I'm from Total. Man, I beg you. Continue to watching. Where you say? But on a very serious note, folks, it's a wonderful thing to have you on. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We'll do our best. We'll do our best. The young man that spoke here earlier, I know you could tell from his voice, folks, that he was speaking with pain. Perhaps, I don't know him, but I'm sure he's not suffering from being hungry. He's not suffering from that. But the pain, the fact that he has relative back in Liberia. I'm going to say this here and then I'm getting ready to put my foot in my mouth here, but I will say it anyway. I think if you look at the situation that is happening in Liberia, I think we're suffering more. Let me finish my statement. Let me cut. I'll pick up your call. Let me just finish this thought here, then I'll pick up your call, please, if you don't mind. Okay. The point that I want to make here before I pick this person call is this. You might say, Samson, too, you can't say that. If you compare the suffering level, most people in Liberia are feeling it immediately. They're feeling the pain, the hunger, the lack of sleep, lack of whatever. But those of us that are here, we're suffering too. Because every time you turn on TV, you watch these little kids playing, having fun. And then when you look at video coming from Liberia, young person, same age, don't look at the stomach. When you look at the stomach, you think big stomach, no food. You're feeling it. You're feeling it. You get up in the morning, 2 o'clock, you turn the lights on, light come on. In Liberia, most places don't have it. You turn the water on in your house, the water coming. Most people don't have it back home. So when you look at these things, forget about the entertainment and things like that. When you look, because all of us want those things to be transferred back to Liberia, if we can grab those things and put them on the plane and charter plane to take those kinds of behavior to dump it in Monroe, we will do so. So I think we're also suffering, not so much of sending money, but in the mind, the mindset. Some of the good things we have here, we want those good things to go to Liberia too. So that's let me take this brother call. Thank you for allowing me to talk this long talk. I appreciate it. What's your name and what's on your mind? Where you're calling from?
My name is Jefferson Cooper. I'm calling from the beautiful city of Des Moines, Iowa.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. What's on your mind, sir?
Well, I've been following the show, and I just want to make a contribution. Just really one point I'm going to hit it.
Thank you.
I think the crisis in Liberia would have been a bit better if the government would come up to speak out. If I see the government speak to the president, I think he has been silent for a very long time. There have been a lot of things that have been happening. He will never come out one day to condemn all this. Look, the economy is crashing down. The people would be eager, the people would be highly motivated to listen to the president. But he has been silent. And one thing that has made Taylor or Ellie very famous is their comments on the airwaves. President, we need to come out to address the people. The people really want to hear from President William. When Ellie took over, there was something a program on the online radio where Ellie would come out in the night and be on that program. People will call in and Ellie will speak to the level of even the person that has not gone to school. People will ask questions. Ellie will speak to them. The same thing with Taylor. Taylor was here and there, accepting interviews from giving chance. President Weah has the power. He needs to come up and address these issues. The people want to listen to him. Now they are talking about constitution. We know the president himself has been violating the constitution. And one thing we know, even though they have the right that he should be there until he stands, because that's what the constitution requires. The same people that stood in line for hours to vote for him, the same people that are crying today. And I don't know whether he just ignoring their cry or he's out of ignorance. But my point I want to make here is that we need to come up and address issues, and not only kids or people that far gone and other people to talk to the people. The people want to hear we are. So this is my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You will be my last caller. And so, folks, Dr. Weah, if you're listening, of course, these are voices here in the diaspora, but I'm sure you're on the ground. You can actually see, I hope, and actually test the mood on the ground. But I think, and then again, these are some of the things that I'm talking about, being difficult subject matter. Because as this young man was talking, asking the president to take the airway, I'm also thinking, he takes the airway after he leaves, and then people make fun of him. Nobody wants to go through those kinds of stuff. And these are kind of things that are very painful. How do you now try to convince this president to say, come and speak to the people when he comes up? People then as soon as he leave, as soon as he finish, then people take it and dissect the statement, cussing him that way, saying that thing, and that, So sometimes he's a human being like any other person. But anyway, Mr. President, that is the jobs you decided to take. So, cussing or not, come on and talk to the people. Like I said, your popularity, it's not going down as people are trying to suggest. I don't believe that. And you could be right. But I just don't see it yet. Once again, this is the same Opon that used to go around refugee camps to talk to refugees, to ease their pain. And I think the people right there in your own hands, the pain is there. Take the airway. Even if you can't, if you're not speaking the book, speak the English the woman in Nuclear Town know. The old lady in Nuclear Town, the kind of English they speak that English. Speak the English that we all, you can't, the Liberian, there's a comedian here called Dick Curtis. He said the only dual citizenship I have is the one that come around more. The way I talk about, nobody, right now you bring Salim man there, you even know what I say. He said, but what man talk more? But Liberian man, whether he come from Lofa or he come from Bon County, the English are talking right now, people, what I say right now, even you come from Nima County, the English are speaking right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So when the president comes and talk to you, people, they say, what we are? They say, what we doing? People will hear you. They will listen. Anyway, folks, Samson told LeBron Public Radio, once again, I want to thank all of you that have been tuning in tonight, making your comments. I appreciate it. And we will be back again Wednesday. Tune in tomorrow for Mr. Social, where he will be able to give us some more information, what is happening back home. I know it's very painful and I know it's very difficult for all of us, but these are things that we must talk about, have conversation about. And if we don't like what is happening, the opportunity is coming. And let me throw a little political jab here a little bit. Next time you're going to vote, you better leave CDC alone. Kind of Liberty Party. Liberty Party is where you are. Liberty Party, that green and white thing, the white hat, the green for money. We will make you money. We will make Liberia rich. Because that's what we do with Liberty Party. We don't fool around. Come to Liberty Party. If you want to enjoy freedom, come to Liberty Party. If you don't, Liberty Party, no protest will happen because we'll be good. We will do things for Liberian people. Liberty Party. Look at the they're on right now. Look at the they're on. The Liberty Party, that's the idea. To help the Liberian people. We're going to deliver. Oh, yeah, you know Liberty Party, yeah? We can deliver. Samson, a little politics in there. I thought I'd throw it in there. But anyway, on a serious note, I want to thank all of you again tonight. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Monday afternoon, please stay safe out there and let us do it again Wednesday. We'll have a wonderful show. Because hopefully by then we will have more information about this letter and we will try to dissect that and try to inform you more on this letter. Be ready for the discussion. And Wednesday, I challenge people because I'll put it up there. I will challenge you to call me on video call. All I say, don't lay down, cover your saying, lay down today and say, yeah, I'm sitting down here. You need to sit down too in a suitable position where you will have conversation, where your brother and sister will be able to listen to you. And if you're going to be calling me on a video conference or something like that, where I will be able to display it on our monitoring, you'll be able to be seen all over. You're not going to be talking over my head like the Facebook stuff. In fact, Facebook has canceled that now anyway, which is a good thing. But besides that, when I put you up, I want you before you call me, send me your name so that I can tap your name underneath so when you're talking, people will know who you are. This is Samson Toll. I'll say thank you very much. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Good night, folks.
Don't disrespect me because I get on papa. You will not disrespect because you see me in papa. Don't disrespect me because I get on papa. You will not disrespect. Because I will on donga, we not broken, but we can make it happen. We not millionaire, but we can keep it popping. We not broken, we can make it happen. We not millionaire, but we can keep it popping. Alcohol, alcohol, back then alcohol, alcohol in the building's on me.
ye basoko. Zakati ko bole punyo basoko. Tumo wana, bole tumo wana, korope ota singo. Tumo wana, bole maji tumo wana, amoye bo bole gana.